Hey YouTube, Amanda here with CoreTCG, and of course San Diego's around the corner, there's tons of people going, and it's going to be a sealed event. So because it's a sealed event, people are practicing by using battle pack generators, and if you want a link to one of the generators, it's in the description box below, so you can mess around with that to play test pools and potential combos, and that's exactly what this video today is going to be about, because there's a lot of rulings that might slip past even some good players, because there's a lot of rulings that are based on card interactions, and these are, of course, mostly obscure cards that people haven't really played before. So I'm here to cover them, and hopefully this can give you the edge you might need in the competitive scene at San Diego. First I'm going to start with Cyberjar. Effects like this have to do with the game mechanics. Turn player is always the one to perform these kind of actions. So with Cyberjar, the person whose turn it is the moment it's flipped is the person who first reveals the top 5 cards of their deck and then special summons things in face-up attack or face-down defense and adds those cards to their hand. It does not happen simultaneously. Both players don't start revealing cards and summoning monsters. So what this means is this can obviously prevent any potential misplays or unnecessary damage by you knowing who does it when, so that you don't have to put something in attack position that you normally wouldn't, and then it get run over by the cards your opponent might reveal if, in this situation, your opponent was supposed to be the first one to do it. So just make sure you know that if you attack into the Morphing Jar, it's your turn, you're the first one to reveal. If your opponent flip summons it manually, they're the first person to reveal. That's ruling number 1. Trap monsters. Trap monsters are not like tokens. Trap monsters can be Book of Moon. When this happens, that monster is flipped down, so it goes back to the trap zone. So it's no longer occupying monster zone. Also remember that those trap monsters are still occupying spell and trap zones while they are also in the monster zone. So don't let your opponent take the trap and then put it in the monster zone. Let them use a dice, or at least put something to occupy the zone if they're going to do that, so that you can keep track of how many zones your opponents are using, because it would be unfortunate if they got that one extra set card that technically shouldn't be there. Drillroid versus Blast Spear. Now this one's actually going to be pretty common because those are usually two very common picks to put into the main. They're decent cards. The Blast Spear will always win. What happens is the Drillroid will attack the Blast Spear and it'll form a chain. The Blast Spear is flipped. Drillroid will be Chain Link 1 because you're turn player, so your effects go on the chain first. And then Chain Link 2 will be your opponent's Blast Spear, so the first thing to resolve is the Blast Spear. It'll go into the spell trap zone, and then Drillroid doesn't destroy anything. Reckless Greed and Offerings to the Doom. Remember, those effects don't stack, so if you flip up an Offerings to the Doom and you have one counter to skip your next draw phase, and then you activate a Reckless Greed, that doesn't mean you skip 3 draw phases, you still skip only 2. Ancient Gear Knight. Remember that that's a continuous effect, so if you are able to Gemini summon him and then you enter battle phase and you attack, your opponent still can't chain stuff like Ego Boost or Mirror Force because it doesn't activate when it declares the attack. It's immediately applied. Interdimensional Matter Transporter. Now there's a few interesting things on this. First is a UDE ruling, which might be outdated. It could be re-ruled, so the best thing to do is ask at San Diego, but normally what judges do is they go by these UDE rulings until they come up with something new. As far as we know it, if you activate Interdimensional Matter Transporter on a trap monster, when that trap monster comes back to the field, it's immediately destroyed. Also remember that Interdimensional does not special summon the monster. It's like Wind Up Rabbit, so it's returning that monster to the field. So because a monster is being returned and not summoned, that's not a special summon, so you can still activate cards like Scapegoat. You also can't activate cards like Torrential Tribute or Bottomless Trap Hole to that returning monster because it's not being summoned. Cyber Valley versus Skill Drain. Now this is updated to problem-solving text, so remember the first effect of Cyber Valley is a cost to banish itself. The other 2 are not costs, so the first one gets around Skill Drain, the other 2 don't, but it's important to note that also because banishing itself and another monster on the field to draw 2 cards is not a cost, you can use token to banish. So Cyber Valley plus Scapegoat is a pretty cool combo. Now, monsters that say, when this card destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, that's occurring in a different substep than something like Blue Thunder, which just says, destroy the monster. So in the instance of cards like Flamvell Firedog, which specify that the monster it destroys has to be sent to the graveyard, that effect will occur at the end of the damage step. Cards like Raikou and Old Vindictive happen beforehand. So if that monster's not on the field to activate in that next step, then that effect doesn't activate at all. So Raikou versus Firedog, Raikou versus Shura, etc. Raikou wins. and those monsters get sent to grave and they don't get their effects. However, with monsters like Blue Thunder, which just say it has to destroy the monster, that occurs before the flip effect, like Raikou and Old Vindictive, so you do get your tokens for Blue Thunder if you attack a Raikou or Old Vindictive and then they destroy it. The next ruling to remember is monsters with 0 attack cannot destroy each other by battle, so you can't use a Scapegoat token to destroy a Fiend Sanctuary token in order to avoid that battle damage that you would take because of Fiend Sanctuary's effect, so make sure you don't make that mistake. And this next one isn't really a ruling, but it's a reminder that Gores has a burn effect. Remember that. So if you attack a face-down Blast Spear and then it attaches to your monster and you leave that as your only monster on the field, only card on the field, next turn when you draw on your standby phase, that monster's destroyed, Blast Spear burns you, you can drop Gores at that point after that monster's destroyed and you take the burn damage to burn your opponent. Also remember there's going to be cards like Ring of Destruction running around, so it's really important to remember that Gores can actually win you the game in these kind of situations. As far as updates go, congrats to Robert Voyagin, who recently topped at YCS Dallas with a very interesting deck. If you want to see the article and deck list below, check out the description box. We are also giving away playmats, like this right here, CoreTCG playmats. If you're interested in receiving one of these for free, also check out the description box below on our Facebook, facebook.com/CoreTCG. We have a bunch of offers. We always are giving away free stuff, and whenever a new set comes out, we have giveaways for that set. So if you're interested in any of those free giveaways, like our page. This week's coupon code is going to be Core Battle Pack. You can enter this upon checking out on the CoreTCG website, and you get a 10% return in-store credit for all of your Yu-Gi-Oh! Singles purchases. It's valid for this week only, and we'll have more coupon codes in the future, of course. I hope this video has been helpful, and I wish you guys the best of luck at YCS San Diego. Take care.